I'm Griffin Fernandes. I am a senior at Adrian College.
My name is Hayden Scott, and I am a junior at Adrian College.
I caught my first bass when I was probably 4 or 5 years old. I moved to Indiana when I was 8, and I loved fishing already, but I wasn't really a specific bass fisherman, I'd say. My neighbor came down one day and caught like a 4-pound bass, and I thought it was just huge, and I wanted to catch one too. And I just got ate up with the passion from that point on.
When I caught my first bass, I would probably say I was probably 5 or 6 years old. Growing up, I'd go bluegill fishing with my dad. As I'm reeling in a little bluegill bass, I'd try to eat it. And from that point on, there's no reason why I wanted to catch these little fish when I can catch the ones that eat them. A family friend growing up, I realized that he fished the Bassmaster Top 100. That's kind of when I got that click of, you can do this professionally, you can do this as a career. That was when I was intrigued by this whole sport of bass fishing.
When I got my start in the college scene, I didn't really know what I was in for. I felt like I was prepared until I got to my first tournament. I realized that I had a lot to learn still. I was able to fish with one of the seniors on the team. He showed me a lot of the ropes. I started to dial things in. Got to the point where I'm at now. We were able to walk away at the national championship win this summer.
Going into the national championship, once I knew it was in New York on the St. Lawrence River, started looking at maps, try to make a game plan. After the first couple days of practice, we were pretty discouraged because we knew there were fish there, we just didn't know how to get them to eat. So going into that first day of the tournament, we really didn't have big expectations for how this event was going to play out.
We did not think for a second that first day that we were going to go out and try to contend for the win.
We got to our first spot and started fishing right away and got a couple good bites. I have it in the bottom of the boat, I unhook it, get ready to throw it in the box, and I hear Griffin say net, big one, net.
And I reeled up, and a 6-pounder came up to the top, and I yelled at him. I said, "Hey dude, I got a giant."
And we got a 6-pounder and a 4.5-pounder in the bottom of the boat, and at that point it clicked. We had a shot at trying to win this event, and we just put our heads down and grinded it out, and we headed back to weigh-in knowing we had a good bag that day.
Ended up weighing in almost 23 pounds on that first day, and we're in third. So going into day 2, our mindset definitely changed. Hayden caught 2 real big, almost 6-pounders, but little did we know that actually put us in the lead.
We get back to the weigh-in knowing we have a solid bag again. We go up on stage, weigh in our 20 pounds, 6 ounces, I want to say. When the weigh-in was all said and done and we knew we were in the lead going into the final day, you really can't ask for much more because everybody else is chasing you at that point, and all you have to do in that third and final day is just execute. There was that pressure of, we are so close to coming away with the childhood dream.
So going out into day 3, it was definitely a wide variety of emotions for us. Fear, excitement, nervousness.
That morning we had the camera guy on us, we got interviewed, we had drones flying around everywhere. There was just this excitement of the third and final day of a national championship.
When we both went out, we both knew that we had worked our butts off the whole season to be there, and we had to just go out and enjoy it. Just do what we could, control what we could, and let the cards fall where they may.
As soon as we launched the boat, we high-fived, knuckle bumped, and we took off for an hour run down. Once that drive started and we had that time to just decompress, I just was super comfortable. We're just gonna have to fish and let the chips fall where they may, and whatever was gonna happen was gonna happen. But once we got down there, threw the trolling motor down and started fishing, it was like the whole world just stopped and we're just in the zone and focused.
Hayden caught like a 4-pounder right off the bat, which is a huge start to the morning. Then I caught another keeper. Hayden makes a cast, catches another 4-pounder, and we're like, oh my gosh. Now the camera boats are on us, our team's following us, hyping us up. So now we're just both just jacked up. Hayden catches another 4-pounder. Now it's like, wow, we need to pull this thing off. And we were just on cloud 9.
Get back to the ramp, and we had 30 minutes to fish. We were feeling on top of the world because we knew we had a shot. We did what we could, we fished clean, there's nothing else that we could do. I hook into one, big head shakes, come off. I'm like, all right, well, that sucks, but they're here. Like, we can still get bites. After I lost my fish, Griffin immediately hooked up.
I make a cast out and hook one, and it's like a 5.5 pounder. We're like, that's the fish we need to win. If we're gonna win this tournament, we have to get this fish in the boat. Current coming through the river so strong, it's hard to control those fish. It came up and jumped behind the motor and threw my bait.
About 2 feet from the net, it pops off and swims back down.
All of a sudden, we went from cloud 9 to down in the dumps real quick, because those are the type of fish you can't lose to win a tournament.
We get to the dock and I drop Griffin off and the camera guy gets on our boat and he's like, "How do you feel?" And I was completely crushed at that moment. I told him the story and I was like, you can't expect to win after you lose 2 fish as big as these ones were. We knew that Tristan McCormick and Stevie Mills, they said they had a big bag and they caught 23 pounds on day 1. For them to say that they were on them and had a big bag was a pretty scary moment.
We figured it wasn't quite enough to win, especially after losing that fish.
So we get back to the ramp, we have all the boats lined up and everyone starts weighing in. We're nervous as all get out the whole entire time because we thought we only had 18 pounds. Once Tristan and Stevie weighed in, they only weighed in 19 pounds, 18 pounds.
The tournament director calls Hayden and I up to weigh in our fish. We figured we had about 18-ish pounds, and we get up to the stage, we put our fish on the scale, and we had 20 pounds, which was enough to beat them.
Until we walked across the stage and weighed those fish, and Hank Weldon said, "You guys are the national champions," it was surreal, and it was kind of like a blur after that moment.
When Hank announced us the winners, it was just a flood of emotions for the both of us. It didn't take but 5 minutes till both him and I were sitting there crying on stage.
Immediately, he put a mic in our faces, and I just started bawling because all that hard work and preparation all added up to this one moment in time, and all the emotions just flooded both of us. And once we had our hands on that trophy that we worked countless hours in preparation for, it was a surreal moment and something I'll never forget.
Hayden's mom walked up to me and said, "Hey, I'm gonna call your mom real quick. I think you need to talk to her." And I was like, yeah, I definitely need to talk to her, because without her, the whole bass fishing scene for me would not have been possible. As soon as she answered, my mom was already crying, and I just let loose. I started bawling right there on the phone with her. I couldn't even talk for the first 5 minutes. Just all I could say was, we finally did it. All the work, all the long hours, the money spent, it's finally paid off for us to walk away with a national championship, and it was one of the happiest days of my life.
It was a huge thing for not only myself and Griffin, but for the team at Adrian College, because there have been so many great anglers come through this program that have put in their blood, sweat, and tears and countless hours on the road. It's thousands of dollars just to be able to afford this dream and to give them a piece that their hard work is paying off, as well as the future generations. So to bring that trophy back to Adrian College, all the hard work, dedication, time on the road, countless hours not being able to sleep, trying to figure out how to afford this dream, and even if it's worth it, I'm just glad it all came together in that one final moment.